Hey, this episode is brought to you by the outstanding team at Compass Strategic Advisors, your trusted partner in driving strategic growth. Whether it's expanding into new territories, launching products, rebranding, or hiring key staff and board members, they offer expert guidance every step of the way. With a versatile approach and a proven track record, Compass is the go-to resource for both startups and established companies looking to scale with confidence. Show some support for this podcast by sharing this appreciation and checking out their website at www.compass-strategic-advisors.com. Fantastic. I am here with Krish Ramineni from Fireflies. And one of the most exciting stories in a very exciting time, we're in the AI era. Krish, welcome to Liftoff.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be on Liftoff.
Oh, you're fantastic. We really appreciate it. Let's dive right in. I mean, you are the CEO, founder of the notetaker record for the AI era in Fireflies. How did you come up with this idea?
Yeah, Fireflies is a 10-year journey. And when we started, there was no idea of AI note takers, AI meeting assistants. So it was a brand new category at the time when we had started. What we always felt was we spend so much time in meetings and we spend so much time talking to other people, but we forget everything the moment we leave the room.
That's
And
right.
if we could build AI that can keep me accountable, keep me focused, and help me build better relationships and have good memory over all of the conversations I've ever had, that would be a future that would be exciting. So we wanted to make meetings better and more memorable. So that's what we started with Fireflies. And imagine us being able to meet 6 months from now and knowing exactly what we talked about because you have this AI that's reminding you and telling you all the things that were discussed, all the next steps, all the action items. It started with that bigger, broader vision. And then the rest happened over time with a lot of trial and error.
Well, that startup overnight journey that just took 10 years has brought you from Microsoft product manager, right? All the way to unicorn. So congratulations on that successful growth and valuation. How many customers do you have now, Krish?
We have Fireflies being used across 75% of the Fortune 500. This is small teams, individuals, departments. We have been taking notes for over 20 million people.
Wow.
And Fireflies is doing thousands of years of meetings every month. And that keeps our AI busy. And it's
It's
taking lots and lots of lots and lots of calls. Like probably if you as a human had to take the calls that Fireflies does in a regular year, it's going to be centuries, like thousands and thousands of years.
Well, it's amazing. Now we show up to a meeting and everyone has their assistant. Most of them are Fireflies, which is a product I use and love, but there are other ones showing up. Is this going to be the new standard for meetings where we have a bunch of humans in the meetings and a bunch of agents and everyone's taking their own notes?
Maybe this is a predictor of what's going to happen in the workplace. I want to be this person that thinks a lot about workplace AI every single day. And I want to be this person that has a crystal ball. But what I can say right now is the future is every company is going to have hundreds of AI assistants, AI teammates.
Mhm.
And one of the very first ones we hope that most companies will start using is Fireflies because it'll take notes for you. It'll prep you before meetings. After meetings, it will write up your emails, prepare your reports, do all the busy work that you have to do. And just maybe in the future, you don't even have to attend some of those meetings and you can have Fireflies attend on your behalf, represent you, and then have your Fireflies talk to someone else's Fireflies and then get back to you with the next steps.
We'll see this continue to evolve, and I want to get more into that. But tell me, as this is called liftoff, right? We want to focus on growth. What was the moment that started to change the curve where you started to really see that bend, that viral element taking off? Was it a tactic or strategy, or was it just sort of a point where you hit critical mass? How would you evaluate that?
The biggest turning point was that feeling people have when they see an AI join the meeting and they're like, whoa, what is this? So back to January 2020, people start to see Fireflies, and I would have people sending me screenshots. Hey, I saw your AI in one of my meetings. And to this day, I get hundreds and hundreds of messages from different people across the world, friends, family, colleagues. Everyone has experienced Fireflies, from my brother at his university to my dad at the workplace. So that's been a really instrumental moment for us. It's the aha moment. And that novelty factor at the time would get a lot of people excited and a lot of people curious about what Fireflies is. And then what sealed the deal is after the meeting, when you get the notes and it's crisp and it's in action items and it's well formatted and written like a human would, people are like, wow, I need this. So many people experience Fireflies before they even start using the product. And usually the people that are using it are strong advocates for it. And when you ask, hey, what's that note taker on the call? And you say, that's Fireflies, I like it. It's going to send these really nice notes and it helps me stay on topic. That's the magic when it comes to marketing. That was our liftoff moment.
Yeah, and I would consider that a product-led growth strategy with a frictionless engine. So it wasn't really so much communication. Hey, what was that? It's there in the product. Try it and use it.
Everything we built, engineered, designed was so that it can be product led, meaning we were not the greatest salespeople in the world, both my co-founder and I. I don't think we're the greatest marketers in the world, but what we did know is let's build something that people want. Let's make it easy for them to use. Let's price it in a very affordable way. Let's also have a free tier where they can start and sign up and use it and let the product prove itself. And that sets off emotion. And if you like it, you can sign up, you can swipe your credit card and you can pay for it. But that's a decision we're going to keep in your hands. But we just want to make the best product possible. And even on conversations that our sales team today has, it's not about pricing, it's not about negotiating. It's really about how can I help you be successful at your work? How can I automate a lot of the busy work? And today, Fireflies does so many things beyond taking notes. It can create reports and scorecards and analyze your calls across many different industries, from sales to recruiting to finance to venture capital. We wanted to make sure that the PLG motion was intact because we wanted to help everyone, every person that has a meeting, whether it's in person or over Zoom. We wanted them to be able to have easy access to Fireflies.
Krish, that's brilliant. But you just covered a whole swath of potential customers. How do you define your ICP today, and where's your focus today?
We started with everyone that was a knowledge worker that has meetings. That was our general core ICP. And we built our platform so that 80% of the features can provide value for all of our users. And then over the last 1 year, we realized there is a huge need in different sectors like finance, in healthcare, in recruiting. So we started building out verticalized solutions on top of Fireflies. So if you're a salesperson, Fireflies can take notes for specifically your sales calls. It can do discovery call notes in that specific manner. It can push them into Salesforce. You can also have automated like call analytics and insights. And then we also have these things called AI apps. So I can have an app that extracts BANT, that can extract feature requests, objections, all of those sort of things. And all of a sudden, you put all these building blocks together, and now you have a sales bundle that salespeople can use. Similarly, for recruiting, we have that sort of experience. For healthcare, we have a HIPAA compliant version of Fireflies that takes notes specifically for doctors, that understands medical terminology. And for finance, we have finance specific integrations and all of that. So, what we've done systematically is we built this really strong platform, and then we put all the Lego blocks on top of that platform, which allow for us to create these tailored use cases. But I would say our core beachhead use cases is definitely sales, recruiting, internal operations. But we've also gotten big in certain industries like finance and venture capital and healthcare.
So from a growth and go-to-market perspective, are you seeing success in the verticalization, or are you still more product-led from the standpoint of adding features, adds new customers?
Even in verticals, having the product led motion has been a huge advantage for us. When we launched Fireflies for Finance, I had no idea there were thousands of finance professionals already using the general version of Fireflies. And now when we have these Firefly specific personalizations on top, they actually got more value out of it and they were more happy. So that's what I like to say is in this AI era, if you are a really good horizontal platform and you can encapsulate users and make them really happy with what you're offering, it's very easy to start picking off all these vertical functionalities and capabilities. And then when we do the marketing, because we're a lot more PLG in nature, we can literally talk to our customers that are using Fireflies for their specific ICPs and then reflect that in our messaging and marketing as well. So it's much more scalable to go after verticals now in the AI era than it was maybe 5, 10 years ago.
Give me a picture now in your Fortune 500 customer. Are more people not showing up to meetings, sending agents, taking those notes back, turning those notes into implementation or execution of the tasks that are brought up? What does that
I
look
feel
like?
like more people still go to meetings.
Yeah.
But there are times when if I have double booked meetings, I have that safety and assurance that, oh, I can review this call because it's not important for me to be in that meeting. There's a lot of meetings that many people attend because it was on their calendar rather than if they are required to be in that call. So I tell my team, if this meeting is not relevant for you, you don't need to attend. And if you need to stay in the loop, you can just look at the Firefly summaries afterwards. And that helps reduce a lot of the clutter on my calendar. Everyone's calendar is busy, especially in a corporate environment when you have back-to-back meetings. What I'm excited about with Fireflies is if I can be in a meeting and if I got distracted, I can just talk to the AI to help me catch up. That's great. If I can have Fireflies jog my memory afterwards, if I can have Fireflies send me meeting prep beforehand, those are all really like time savers. And then I can start building workflows so that any work that I have to do after a meeting ends, I can just have Firefly start doing that work in real time, like writing my follow-up emails, my thank you emails, coming up with any sort of analysis. The future of Fireflies, which I'm really excited about right now, we announced is you don't have to just have Fireflies be a passive AI on your call. You can actually now talk to Fireflies on a meeting. You can trigger Fireflies on a call, talk to it like you would talk to Siri or Alexa and have it do work for you. And in the future, which I've hinted at, as Fireflies gets to know you better and what you say and what your team needs, there will be a future where you don't have to go do that screening interview. You don't have to go do another sales call. Fireflies can take that discovery call for you or that screening interview for you. Who knows? Maybe your next Fireflies AI avatar can go interview 100 podcast guests and know exactly what follow-up questions to ask and how to engage them. And you can be cranking out 5 podcasts a day. You know, that all of that
Well,
is possible technologically today.
I have heard those scenarios. I just am asking for a window. How soon are those things happening? I have to start working on my next resume.
We would love to have Fireflies help automate some of your mundane
Yeah.
calls. Like if you're doing hundreds of recruiting calls every day, hundreds of discovery and support calls, user interviews, those sort of things. Within the next 6 months, we will be having something out for people to be able to use. In fact, we've done 500 plus interviews internally for job hires using our AI automated recruiter.
Wow, that's fantastic. I see the long-term future, and it's definitely more automated. It's definitely more intelligent. Is it start to um, take on another layer of creativity in making other suggestions or developing new ideas?
I think the future is very much real time. Everyone is going to have a proactive, real time assistant whispering in their ear, just like the movie Her, that's suggesting things to you. And the best place for that sort of assistant starts with meetings. We want to have a live assist capability so that Fireflies can tell you when you're stuck on a call. If you're on a sales call and you need a little bit of coaching or guiding, if you're on a recruiting interview and it's suggesting what sort of follow up questions you should be asking, if you guys are trying to make plans and do some market research, Firefly is actually going and doing that for you on your behalf. So That's what I think the future is. AI is going to be real time, it's going to be instant, and it will be able to be that sidekick that you have 24/7 anytime you're on a call. It'll feel like, wow, how can I attend a meeting now without Fireflies by my side? That's how it's going to feel like in the future, because it's always helping you stay on top of things. And Notes is just the starting point. That's just easy, immediate value. So while everyone competes on the AI note taker front, we want to build this real-time proactive assistant that's helping you get work done. And Notes is just a small amount of that work that you actually do on a day-to-day basis.
Does it always go through the meeting scenario, because that the way to it identifies a note-taking opportunity, or is there another metaphor for connecting?
You mean having Fireflies be ubiquitous beyond just in a video conferencing call?
Right, or a
Yeah.
meeting situation.
That's a good question. So today we have Fireflies supported for our in-person meetings on our mobile app. So you have that as a device. I could see a form factor where glasses in the future, Fireflies
Right.
could be integrated into that. As
Yeah.
long as we're getting the real-time audio stream, we can do all of our AI magic and suggest things to you. I think that would be really powerful.
I know I'm taking some of your time and you got a million things cooking, but you had an interesting journey in terms of fundraising also. You took maybe the road less traveled to a certain extent, even though you're a Silicon Valley native.
I grew up in the Bay Area, in the East Bay, actually. Pretty much spent all my childhood here till I was 18. Went to school on the East Coast, and tech was like rooted deeply in my family and my extended family.
Yeah.
So I've always seen startups and big tech companies like grow over the last 2 decades here in Silicon Valley. And I've also seen different types of companies being built. And I always say I've deeply admired founders who were able to raise very little and then build a massive business. Just in our backyard here in Pleasanton, California, you have a company called Viva, which has built a massive business with just one round of funding. You have incredible companies like Workday that didn't have to raise a whole lot of capital. So I think that companies can be built in many different ways, but if you can focus on building a sustainable business that's profitable, where you're not on the hamster wheel always seeking out this next round of financing, and this growth at all cost mindset is not there, that's when you're having a lot more fun. You're in control of your own destiny. And I've also seen from 2016 till now so many companies that shot up super quickly and then completely evaporated, disappeared because they didn't get their fundamentals right. So we use venture capital effectively to build the foundation of the business. We needed it to build this sort of expensive, complicated technology. But we then figured out our unit economics. We figured out how to scale. We figured out how to be profitable for the last 2 years. And that helps us continue to grow quickly without needing to be on this hamster wheel of raising more and more capital every time.
So was it a concentration on, reducing burn rate and managing profitability early on, or just not spending a whole lot on things like office space and even personnel ahead of plan and things like that?
So we don't have an office space here at Fireflies, but what we do is we take some of that savings and then we do a annual offsite in a remote country, and we fly all of our team out there and we spend a week together there. So I think net office space, yes, is expensive, but that offsite trip is also expensive. I look at it less about, am I saving money on office space? And I look at it more as, where do the best people work? They're everywhere in the world. They're not just in Silicon Valley. And if you have the best people working, you don't need to have them in person in the office. And some of these people are essentially micromanaging, driving them all the time, breathing over their neck, trying to get things done. But we're in a culture where we feel a lot more about importance and given to autonomy. So when you have really smart people, you set some good guidelines and you get out of their way, they're going to do great things. That doesn't mean I'm not in founder mode. I'm always like deeply focused on every single detail, but smart people respect that. Like they respect it when you're able to challenge certain assumptions and stuff. And for us, because we built this PLG business, we spent everything on our product, making our product really good. So we didn't have to spend money on marketing. We probably generate tens of millions of dollars of marketing through the freemium version of Fireflies, where it's easily distributed. The other thing is we were always principled about our unit economics and spending, and we manage our own cloud infrastructure. We built our own cloud infrastructure setup and servers to manage, which is, again, tens of millions of dollars every year if you're not doing that. All of these things start to add up, and it's just very first principles thinking. If you look at like Tesla, they verticalized and they built all of their components, right, from their entire supply chain to their factories. And when you're able to verticalize like that, your operations, and I'm a big operations guy, as much as I love product and
Yeah.
I think a lot about product and engineering and design, which is my favorite thing. Part of my DNA is also operations. You need a little bit of the Steve Jobs to the Tim Cook. I always say you need both. And
Yeah.
when you have that, you start to also think about how to build your company from a first principles basis, and you cut off a lot of waste along the way.
That reminds me of one of my favorite questions to ask um, folks like yourself, and that's what's another company or two that you admire a lot, and try to focus on companies that aren't the legendary ones like Apple and even Tesla today. But who are some of the newer companies that you look at and go, yeah, they're really doing something different from a GTM or PLG standpoint, or love what they've done from a UI development standpoint. What sticks out to you? Who do you look up to or
The
admire?
obvious one in the room that everyone will talk about so is OpenAI and
Opening, yeah.
ChatGPT and how quickly they've grown and what amazing things that they're doing. They're just another beast. They're like the 10,000 pound elephant in the room that can take on anyone, and they have the resources and capital to do it. So I won't talk about OpenAI because it's already an amazing company and they're doing incredible stuff. But a couple other companies that I look at, I really like Zapier, like their DNA. They were also pretty much bootstrapped beyond their seed round of financing, and they integrate with everyone, they work with everyone, and they've gotten to like a new level of scale in this AI era. And I'm very impressed with how they've been able to fuse AI and automations into their whole no code ecosystem. I'm all about AI automations, and I'll put this disclaimer out there. I'm actually hiring someone for the CEO's office for my team whose sole job is going to be an AI automation engineer, help me automate like mundane repetitive tasks, things that my EA would have to do manually, like sorting through my email, sorting through all of my messages. I'm hiring an AI automation engineer for that. So
Yeah.
all of those people are going to have to use Zapier because it's a phenomenal tool. Another
It- it-
company that's had an incredible resurgence is Intercom, and like the way the CEO came back and reinvigorated the company with this new AI customer support solution called Fin. They're doing an incredible job. And that's an example of a company that was pre AI, but has really pivoted and worked hard to do incredible stuff. And I've met the CEO before at like a mentorship program, and where we were sitting down and like we were talking and had a great one-on-one with him. But I think you can see that he had like incredible hunger and passion, and he's really translated that really well.
Yeah, Krish, great take on that. Let me get your take on one more thing, as we like to give tips to some of the next generation of founders who will follow in your footsteps. So what kind of quick tips, or not quick tips, what kind of suggestions do you have that a founder needs to know as they're moving in a similar path as you are? A piece of tactical advice, strategic
Mhm.
advice, personal advice, however you want to frame that.
Well, the most tactical advice that I can give right now is just start building, just start shipping. It is so much easier today to get a product out in production than
Mhm.
it was a few years ago. And you can do
Yes.
it at very low cost. LLMs have cut down in cost by over 1,000x. And if you can get real customers and some real revenue, do that before you go out and raise money, because you'll have so much more customer validation, market validation. And I'm just impressed at this company that recently, in 6 months, bootstrapped and sold for $80 million. And they did not raise a single round of financing. There's going to be
I
so
saw
many
that. I
more of
guess.
these businesses, and I won't even call them lifestyle businesses. I think that's doing them a disservice. These are going to be highly scalable, high revenue businesses. Maybe they have a market cap, maybe they have some level of ceiling, but they're going to be incredibly profitable. They're going to move incredibly fast. So I would focus on just shipping and
Build
getting
fast,
your
break
first
things.
couple $1,000s of revenue.
Yeah.
You will learn so much through that process than any sort of mentorship thing, any sort of advisory program, any sort of conference. And that's what big firms like YC also push is like, you got to ship, you got to talk to customers, and you got to start charging.
So the counter to that would be, well, I don't want to show off my product if it's not what I expect it to be, because nobody will come back if they didn't like it.
You won't even know what your product will look like a year from now once you launch, because your customers will take you in 100 different directions.
Yeah.
And you'll have to navigate that. Like, what you're starting with is an initial thesis, and you won't be able to validate that thesis or scientific experiment until you put it in the hands of people, and you'll then learn about all the things that need to change. All these companies that are working in stealth, especially if you're a first-time founder, I think you're doing yourself a disservice, because you're not able to learn fast enough by not putting it out there. And again, ship before it's perfect. That's part of life, is you got to jump out of the plane and figure out your parachute. Because if you just wait and wait and wait before you launch, what you plan to do in like 6 months is going to take 2 years, 3 years. And then by then the market has moved on and you've lost interest. So if you don't want to lose interest, you've got to like start making smaller gains. That helps you stay motivated.
That's great counsel. So on the personal level, you're strapped to a rocket ship. You know, you are doing a million things. You have ideas about what's new. You're working on keeping the team and building the team and strengthening the team. Same with the product. How do you advise peers and even new founders to manage it all without going crazy, without turning to all those bad habits? How do you manage to stay focused and keep your blood pressure, at least out of the red?
For one thing, I don't drink caffeine. I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke. So I've been fortunate enough to stay away from all the habits. I know quite a few founders that need a couple beers at the end of the day after a very stressful day of working. And there are founders in Silicon Valley that are experimenting, let's just say, with other types of drugs to be creative. I don't believe in all of that. I definitely feel that don't start something if you're not passionate about it, and don't keep doing something if you're not actually enjoying that process. And if you are good at something and you're passionate about it, that's the perfect combination, because there will be days where you don't want to wake up and do this stuff. There will be days where you just want to throw in the towel and it's not worth it. So the only reason I'm able to do the things that I do today is because I enjoy waking up every day, even if it's a stressful day, even if it's a day where there's a lot of challenges, and I'm doing it on my own accord. And I don't look at it as a job. And I don't think I'm the right person to do a 9 to 5 job. And I keep saying that everywhere. But I'm happy working 100 hours on something that I care about, that I'm deeply passionate about, than 40 hours on something that is not that interesting to me. And I get paid for that. I'm grateful. So I think everything that I wanted to do and the way I wanted to do it, and I had this goal by the time that I was 30, I wanted to do these things. So I'm in that position. So I couldn't ask for more, and I'm fully grateful. So always, always would tell other founders, are you doing this because it's a status symbol? Are you doing this because you want a good look good in front of your peers? Are you doing this because you want to like just take a break from your regular job and just do something different? But all of those things don't matter if you can't wake up and get excited about what you're doing. So just make sure you're starting this for the right reasons, and forget about work-life balance, because it doesn't exist if you're a founder.
Krish, I want to leave it right there because that's a perfect wrap up. That's fantastic advice. I really enjoyed our conversation and appreciate you taking the time. You're on just an exemplary leader of a very exciting company doing really cool things. I'm using the product. I'm loving it. I see the potential for future development. What an exciting time. I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, Keith. That is music to my ears, and we're glad to have you as a Firefly user, and I had a lot of fun on this podcast.
Thank you very much.